Namaste, and welcome back to another episode of MSL Lead Chronicles, where leaders learn from leaders. I'm Mary Morton, and along with my buddy Chad Fellers, we have casual talk about the challenges and successes in medical affairs with the most exciting and impactful professionals in pharma. As always, we have another great one for you today, so stick around.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of MSL Lead Chronicles. I am your host, Chad Fellers, with my nifty sidekick, Mary Morton. How are you, Mary?
I'm terrific. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Is it a snow oasis? According to your shirt, it is in Texas. Yeah. Is that correct? Is it snowing?
Well, it's Snow Oasis. It's the Gallagher brothers from the band Snow Oasis. Or Oasis.
Oh, okay. I thought.
Oasis.
Oasis. I know that. I didn't know that there was a thing around Snow Oasis. So now I get the joke
because they're snowmen.
Okay. Well, I guess we got a lot of laughs in store and learning in store, like we always do on today's podcast, because I didn't really understand what that was. So you've taught me something new, Mary. So
yeah. So Noel and Liam. Liam's the one in the parka.
Okay.
With the tambourine, I think. Oh yeah, he does have a tambourine. Yeah.
Both with carrot noses and one with sunglasses, one without. Just kind of pimp their different styles. Okay, fair enough.
Exactly. Yes.
I cannot believe it's December and it's the end of December, Mary. This year has just absolutely flown by. Here at work, certainly for me, I know for you as well too. A lot of different changes and a lot of growth opportunities and. The podcast too. Mm-hmm. Golly, I cannot believe we have finished 2 years now.
I know.
2 years.
It's been so awesome.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Thanks for putting up with me as much as you have. And
same.
I know you're used to me being like the little brother, the much younger brother that you put up with. So thanks for taking care of me the way that you do. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
But thinking about all the different things, I guess as we think about this being our last show, I don't know. I think we ought to talk about a few different things with our listeners today. Okay. Let's see. Let's talk about. I mean, there's been a lot of things that have happened in industry, whether it's beneficial drugs that have come to market, mergers and acquisitions.
Yeah.
And even kind of the evolution that we've kind of undergone as well too, as here at MSL Lead. So you want to dig into it?
I would love to, but first.
Oh no.
It's the hot seat question.
For me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. I thought we had covered all these.
No. This is a seasonal hot seat question. What would your Christmas themed walk up song be? I know. See?
Wow.
Or to make it easier, what's your favorite Christmas song?
Oh Holy Night's my favorite Christmas song. I'm trying to think about though. I'm torn between the version of Deck the Halls of A Christmas Story, where they went out to eat at the very end. The Far-ra-ra-ra-ra. I don't know. I could see that as being my walk up song. As long as you don't tell me the best one that would go with me is the New Kids on the Block song, Have a Funky Funky Christmas. I don't know. That was years ago.
I'm going to have to hunt that one down.
Yeah. My confession, my grandparents got me the New Kids on the Block CDs about 3 years after they were good. So it was not a great gift. They tried,
but you're admitting they were good.
Anyway. Oh, well, I mean, anyway.
Oh, dude, I was a big Donnie Wahlberg fan, so maybe still am.
Okay, fair enough. But now on to more important things. What about your walk-up song?
Well, my favorite Christmas song is O Come, Emmanuel.
Okay.
I get teary even. It's a beautiful song. But my Maybe Christmas Time is Here by Vince Guaraldi. It would be a slow walk up.
Oh, so you're gonna put people to sleep?
No, it's a happy song.
Huh.
Christmas time is here.
Oh, Baby It's Cold Outside. I guess I shouldn't say that would be one of mine, maybe,
As
right?
a walk up song?
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway, okay.
That's your
Let's
walk up to the kitchen counter song, maybe.
maybe. All right. So, well, how about let's transition away from this as we are really exposing ourselves, being vulnerable like this. Sorry, lots of things happening, Mary, in 2025. So why don't we start with talking a little bit about all the cool things that have been released to the market for patients. So why don't you kick us off?
Absolutely. So like I have a list that I kind of have pulled together, and I think the first one I probably would have thought of, especially in light of all of the things occurring in the opioid crisis,
Mm.
is the companies out there that are trying to find better ways to treat people's pain without the need to go in that direction. And Vertex um, actually got approved the first in class oral pain medication. It's a NaV 1.8 inhibitor. So it's Jornavix.
It's a journey, though, the pain free living. So
Yeah,
that's
without
pretty cool.
addiction. Yeah, so I
Yeah.
was pretty excited to see that. I think it's been all bad news around how we treat people's pain for the past decade.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
was nice to see something new and different. And I think from a medical affairs standpoint, I mean, you tell me, but I feel like that would create um, opportunities to reinvent the wheel on how we approach providers.
Yeah. No, there's no doubt about it. I think it'll just be interesting how receptive providers are to even just the thought. I mean, thinking about the barriers. Let's just even say with any drug, right, where there's been failures of the same class over and over. There's been things that are stigmas that go along with a certain disease state, things like that. Even though this is not an addictive substance, right? I mean, it's still going to be some of those conversations that I think that medical affairs can really step into to really kind of ensure comfort and trust and things like that. So it's a well needed, it's a very much needed area to take care of patients. Because I mean, what can you get that's not controlled or that is controlled that is not limited to a 5-day supply now or things like that? I mean, tramadol, that's really about it, and that doesn't. I mean, to me, that's like water in many ways, right? But I mean, in hydrocodone being, a Schedule 2, those types of things now just makes it really tough in these patients that really need it. So, be interesting to see how quickly um, the uptake is in the market,
Oh,
how
yeah.
quickly the insurance companies cover it, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me a little bit of what we learned from Margaret Alabi on the episode on patient advocacy when we had her on. I think she had a lot to
Mm,
share, but the missing piece of the puzzle, and it sometimes is, are we taking care of the people who are the end users of these medications, and are we giving them what they need? So I mean, that was a great episode. Um,
hmm
I was inspired coming away from that episode with her, to be completely honest.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think so. That's an easy transition for me to think about the different other specialty drugs that have come out fighting for patients with rare disease. Um, uh, when you think about patient advocacy, that's really what drives a lot of the movement within these populations, and they're passionate. There seems to be a desire by the government even to prioritize them with voice of the patient and those types of things. But get to brag on or about being part of one of those at Alnylam in 2025. It was exciting for me. As a former employee there, I got to be a part of a successful launch of Amvuttra or Vutrisiran. And it was really It was already approved for many that may not know, and more of a smaller therapeutic area in neuropathy. It was just a smaller subset. But when you think about now being able to treat patients with amyloidosis, with a cardiomyopathy caused by the transthyretin amyloidosis, I guess I should have said that. It really is an opportunity to make impact for a large patient population, a larger rare disease patient population. So, yeah, that drug is done amazingly well, and you can see the RNAi area is just a really cool, hot place to be.
Um, it makes me think of another product that is in the RNAi space.
Hmm.
Arrowhead Pharmaceuticals got their product approved, Redemplo, for severe hypertriglyceridemia and familial chylomicronemia syndrome. Thank God we can just call it FCS.
That's what I would have said. We have a bunch of scientists that listen to this podcast, so they can go either they can understand it or they can go Google it one way or another. That's how
Yeah.
I would have viewed it, Mary. But really good job with that. Yeah.
But pronouncing
Um,
it, thank you very much.
yes. Yes. I think, and just from your perspective, I'd love to hear this. I think about kind of like where the hot markets are when you think about from opportunity for medical affairs, and it really has been a shift. I think oncology used to be the spot to be in, right? I mean, that is the toughest place to get into once you're in. And then once you're in, there's so many different opportunities and things like that. So that's always a great place to position yourself. I think also any kind of um, genetic specific therapy as well too is a great place to be too. What are your thoughts on that?
I totally agree, but I think I've always been drawn more to the rare and genetic diseases anyway. I mean, for example, the product at Arrowhead is the first and only FDA approved medicine in this space for patients who have been genetically confirmed and diagnosed with FCS.
Hmm.
But within the rare disease space, I mean, I do work in oncology some, but I think a lot of the companies that I'm drawn to, and I think a lot of investors are drawn to, are a lot of these underserved areas. And I think we're really going to find in the future that there's a whole lot more of these conditions that we just thought were random
Hmm.
or, excuse me, or completely idiopathic, that were caused by
Yep.
some sort of a genetic mutation, either in utero or after birth. But
Yeah.
yeah, I totally agree.
It'll be interesting to see how the FDA approaches this, right? I mean, the sense of for some of these, like, are they going to really have more of a platform type of therapy where if it's for rare disease and it's just a matter of altering something small in the small patient population, are you going to make them go through multiple trials, long trials, et cetera? Or are you going to continue to have similar model like Operation Warp Speed was a few years ago, where it's getting it to the patients that have no other treatment options? So it's definitely a market. I think that when you think about those two areas, um, I think medical will always be the driver of those. I don't ever see a transition where commercial would take a lead with that from a sales component. Obviously, they would have a great role to play, but I think that these are so specific and really require scientific acumen. It's just a good spot to be in if you're in medical affairs, regardless if you're in MSL world or medical director world. I mean, thinking about, of course, Alnylam, it makes me think about Steve, that was on our podcast, Steve Roblin, and his journey actually transitioning from the field into a medical director role and the shift in mindset, strategic thinking, et cetera. So what about you? What else comes to the top of mind for you?
Well, honestly, when you started talking about um, getting therapies to people, I'm gonna get on my soapbox here, and I think part of it is personal because of what Nicole went through, and I think this
Mm.
is if I could get involved in something from a volunteer aspect, it would be to get more genetic and genomic profiling opportunities to people so they could get the right therapy for them faster than having to fail something else first. And I realize that's a lot of I know a lot of that is like a managed care thing, and it's there's a lot of politics behind the scene, but I think it's garbage that somebody has to go 6 months on a therapy because it's standard of care
Hmm.
before they go through a genomic testing to find out they actually have a genetic mutation for which a therapy is available, maybe not in their tumor type, but with that
Yeah.
specific genetic mutation that she couldn't have even been tried on first.
Hmm.
Um, and I guess for maybe a less traumatic standpoint is, a lot of these people who are living with autoimmune disease where um, they're forced to go on one
Hmm.
therapy. And just to be fair, I'm not going to say who the company is or who the drug is, but as you said, we have educated people who know probably exactly what I'm talking about. That if you have rheumatoid arthritis, you have to start this one drug in this one class that actually does not work for the majority of people, but that's the way it goes. And you have to fail on that for 90 days, and then you got to fail on something else for 90 days.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, if we could find a way to get more personalized medicine
Hmm.
to people who clearly are going to perform better on one therapy than another, that would make me very happy. And that is my wish for 2026. I don't know, wouldn't call it my prediction, but um sorry, stepping back from my
Yeah.
soapbox.
No, I mean it's just an interesting dynamic, right? I mean, I think that there is such a cost component as well too, and um, it's one of those things. It's tough, right? How do you put a cost on someone's life? And we hate that there's that business component of it from the insurance companies and things like that. So it's tough. It's a tough struggle. There's no doubt about it. I wish that there was a clearer path forward, just to get these products to patients, right? So they can have a chance to live to the next day, potentially have better quality of life, et cetera. So, um, it's
So,
fair.
like, and how much does the testing cost? I don't know.
Yeah. I think
So, anyway.
so. So on a little bit of a different note, I think about all of these genetic specific therapies that are coming to market, and it makes me think: do we even really start expanding who it is that we're engaging from a scientific standpoint? Are we really focusing on genetic counselors? As far as having conversations with them, prioritizing conversations, making sure they're aware um, of the new therapies, because they're going to be oftentimes the front lines of engaging patients, having conversations, ease of mind, connecting with the provider as well too, to be able to translate some of the findings with that. I know many companies are now starting to focus more on genetic counselors and having those conversations. I know for myself, I've actually worked with a genetic counselor
Oh,
on a previous team as well too. So while there are some genetic counselors that are in industry, I think that that's something that as leaders we should really pay more attention to, and having more be a part of industry and these field roles, because of the importance of genetic counselors to the patient journeys that are these
yeah.
products are really impacting.
And I can tell you the genetic counselors that I know that are MSLs, um, they are so broadly brilliant,
Yeah.
especially in a lot of these rare pediatric diseases where they're the front line to the
Mhm.
parents as they're finding out that their child either that is not yet born or they're finding these things out from this person, and so they have a very well-rounded, well-shaped um, personality with compassion and scientific intensity. I think they're great MSLs. So I
Yeah.
agree with you.
Yeah. a lot of cool things that have really come out for different patient types. So it's been a fun year. Of course, we didn't mention all the different products that have come to market.
It would
Um,
take us hours.
it would take us hours. It'd take us hours. So with that, why don't we talk a little bit about all the different, or a few of the different mergers and things like that that have happened within industry as well too. Certainly shaking things up a little bit.
Yes. And for me, I put together my like Hot 100 list at the end of every year to go into the next year because they're companies either I follow because I would like to work with them or I'm already working with them or I would like to invest in them. And so I will tell you that I was looking over my list for 2025. Um, there were a number of them that got acquired. So I guess that's a good sign that I made some good picks. I was also
Yeah.
kind of sad because I didn't want them to be acquired already.
Yeah.
But good for them. So I think the big farmers came through and bought up a lot of my favorite little companies. One company I was following in Nash or Mash or whatever is a company called 89 Bio, which I thought they were great. Great field leadership as well. Um, but they have an FGF21 analog, and Roche bought them. And then a couple of the other little companies I liked, Novartis bought. One of them was Tourmaline Bio, where our friend Kathy Andorfer
Uh
works.
huh.
Um, I can't remember the name of the other company that Novartis
Yeah.
bought. Do you remember?
Yes, it happened to be Avidity Biosciences that I'm
Do you know
now a
anybody
part
that works?
of. Yeah, I do. I do. I do know who works there. Yeah, actually, 6 days into my journey with that team, that was announced. So yeah, it's really an exciting time, and of course, I can't make too many comments about it other than I do think it's going to be. I think Novartis made a very sound decision from the scientific standpoint. I mean, when you have three different therapeutic areas that all are very successful in the trial stages. It's a good opportunity, and quite honestly, Novartis is a great company, and the power behind them will really be able to get, in my opinion, I think it will get more products to patients at a much more accelerated rate. So, but yeah, it did take me by surprise. That is for sure. No doubts.
Yeah. You've never been through an acquisition before, right?
I have not. I
Which is
have
wild
not.
because you've worked at like 4 or 5 different pharmas,
Oh
and
my
this is
gosh.
the first one that you got
I know.
acquired.
I know. I've had one close its doors on me before.
I don't know why I'm
So
laughing, I'm sorry.
I've gotten to see lots of different aspects of small startups, and um, it's been good, right? They all shape you in different ways, and even my time here, I get to serve a great team, and it's a lot of fun being able to invest in them. So yeah, we'll see what the future holds. I'm very excited to see what comes in 2026 regarding
Yeah,
that. So
yeah.
yeah,
That'll be great
um,
fun. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. What else comes to
Uh,
mind?
Sanofi came in and snapped up Blueprint Medicines. I think very innovative little company. They also just wrapped up the acquisition of Vigil Neuroscience, another company that was on my top 100 list. And I was kind of more following for their ASLP compound, which is adult onset leukoencephalopathy. That program did not succeed, unfortunately. Sanofi was more interested in them, I think, for their Alzheimer's program. And so those products look very promising. And then that ALSP compound ended up going back to Amgen because
Oh,
they licensed it from Amgen to begin with. Another
okay.
company that did a lot of acquiring, just not really so much this year. J&J, the big thing that they acquired was intracellular therapies. That one was announced and wrapped up really quickly in the first quarter of this year, but everything's been pretty quiet lately with them. And beyond that, I don't think there's a whole lot of activity in big pharma as far as some acquisitions.
What about um, there's a lot of things around Novo and Pfizer and all of these weight related medications. I don't know really a lot of the specifics around that, other than it's just a huge market here. But anything stick out to you on that?
Well, I mean, the Met Sarah. I mean, it's like watching an episode of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives because that whole back and forth between like Nova's like, yeah, we're going to snap up this little company. And Met Sarah's been, so they were, they're public now. Well, of course they're acquired now, but they were one of Arch Partner Ventures startup companies and have amazing science. And
Hmm.
so, since they're developing things in the obesity and metabolic space, it made sense that somebody like Novo or Eli Lilly would try to grab them. And so, Novo made a bid to acquire them. And then, out of nowhere, Pfizer jumps in and makes them an offer. And then Novo counter offers. And then Pfizer counters. And then, like, the legal and compliance department, I guess, at Metsera is like, I think there's some regulatory legal risks involved in, with Novo. And I'm speculating that it's probably around like market dominance. And so they were safer going to Pfizer. And Pfizer actually had a couple of therapies that they were studying in obesity and metabolism that did not make it. And so it really makes a whole lot of sense for Pfizer to have acquired this company. I think it's a smart move.
Yeah.
It's gonna end up probably being the most expensive acquisition of 2025, about $10 billion after everything's sort of said and done.
Yeah. That's a lot of money, but yeah, it's interesting. You see this evolution of large pharma acquiring for a variety of reasons, but part of it is they're just adapting to the environment and what's being prioritized by the marketplace as well. Beyond just Me Too drugs and all those things, it is becoming more specific, trying to really capture a lot of market share by being first to market. Um, I'm going to try to actually make a segue here, Mary.
Let's
So
do it. Segway King.
I'm not really great at it sometimes. It's kind of like dad joke version of segues, maybe. I'm not sure, but thinking about the evolution and things like that, I think we've done a little bit of that. And you actually, I have to give you credit for this. I hate giving you credit.
Come on. It's
You
Christmas.
made it is Christmas. You made an observation about the evolution that we've undergone a little bit here at MSL Lead, right? And just our mission statement is not changed, right? We want to continue to equip leaders by learning through other leaders, trying to help advance that in the medical affairs space specifically. But I think you made a really interesting observation as we reflecting back on all the different conversations that we've had in 2025. And so why don't you share that with our listeners?
Well, I said this to you sort of like off the cuff, so I'm trying to figure out like how to say it to where it sounds somewhat polished. But um, like when the discussion led to us wanting to do this podcast, it was like around, you know, letting in other people into our conversations that we have around leadership and share, because
Hmm.
we share a lot of our leadership philosophies with each other. And I think that you've helped me a lot um, through some of the things that I've worked through myself. But
Ditto.
um, thank you. But it's I think that what we're finding, maybe not just with you and me, I think with our guests,
Hmm.
and all of the enlightenment that we've gotten is it's creating a paradigm shift, or at least exposing it to the way that we encourage people to lead other people.
Hmm.
I think what I'm hearing from people is gone are the days of this um 80s version of dictatorial leadership. And I think that people are embracing a new way of leadership. Or maybe it's just feeling more comfortable to stand out and say, I don't manage 100% by the numbers. I
Hmm.
manage and I lead people like humans.
Hmm. So you're basically what you're kind of emphasizing is the servant leadership model in ways, right? I think that's um, it is really empowering others to take ownership. It's creating an environment that is a safe place to speak up. We've had conversations around that as well too on our
Mhm.
podcast. And as you think about, I think this is really important for leaders to consider. Not only do I think it's the best way to lead, selfishly, because I've seen some true magic happen with some very extremely intelligent, high IQ people um, really shift their focus from internal to external, and then just seeing the rewards from that. But I think about even this new generation. What is the new generation called?
I think
Generation Alpha. Is that
alpha,
right?
that okay, so, like, we are Gen X,
Yep.
and then there's Gen Y or millennials, and then there's the Gen Z, so that's, like, what, you know, our youngest are, and then Gen Alpha, that's a new one, and they Gen Alpha is, the generation of people born entirely in the 21st century. I mean,
That's
wow.
nuts. That's nuts. That's nuts. Yeah. Time flies, right? Days seem like they get shorter and shorter. Yeah. And observations from this particular group, right? I do think they really align well to this servant leadership approach. You think about empathy and inclusion. You think about individual growth. Um, you see, now a term, career break, and those types of things are happening, or people aren't prioritizing, um, money necessarily, right? I mean, obviously money is a foundation to live, but if they're not happy, they're going to go find some place that makes them happy. And they're not afraid to make bold moves. So thinking about how do we really plug in and invest in this generation, thinking about um, development opportunities from an individual, personally and professionally, thinking about creating a sense of ownership or collaborative decision making. They want to be a part of a purpose driven leadership. I think it's another thing we really have to really lean into, being adaptable and flexible, and then really being trustworthy, right? This generation really values authenticity, or that's a thing that continuously comes up. So I think some of those areas as leaders, we really have to make sure we're being intentional in those as we're thinking about the next generation
Mhm.
and trying to build something that's sustainable and successful.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I'm gonna kinda segue. That's a really good introduction into what's next year gonna be like. I mean, I think we talked a little bit about, some of these companies that maybe haven't done a whole lot of acquiring or merging are probably gonna be doing stuff like that and seeing more personalized medicine, emerging in 2026. But moving on to what our mission has been, which is, you know you know, fostering, um, an environment where people can be the best leaders they can be. I think I think you're hitting it on the head there about shifts in the way that we lead and that we
Oh.
see other people lead. And I think people have to feel comfortable um, releasing things that they feel like they need to be the subject matter expert on
Huh.
so that they can realize where their strengths are. Like Elizabeth was just saying, I didn't realize till I changed therapeutic areas that I have all these amazing, wonderful strengths things I have, my giftings, to use your word, to the people that I lead.
Yeah.
And I, what do you think? What do you think 2026 is going to bring um, for leadership?
So a little bit of a difference, even more than just a leadership approach. I think um, doing things differently is going to be a big theme for many. It's going to set people apart. And what is that? That's leveraging AI more. in medical affairs. I know we talk about that a lot, but I don't know um, how embraced that is, and are we really maximizing that? Of course, I think you're going to see a focus, not only just like an insights lead and things like that, but I think you're going to have positions that are really, that their sole purpose is to be able to help tell the story of medical affairs. And how do they do that? They leverage it through AI, whether it's that would be one component, being efficient in the paperwork and or how can we make it more automated? How can we streamline email interactions? How can we track to see which email or structure is leads to the best result, right? Or a quicker response. All those different types of things. Summarizing insights specific to certain subjects, looking at those in real time versus the Excel spreadsheet where you're trying to do something from a manual process, right? So, I mean, I think you're going to have people that are more focused on that, to really free up time to really do what they've been hired to do. So I think that's an area that I think is going to start to take off a little bit more, as people are becoming more comfortable with AI. Again, it's not artificial intelligence. I don't think of it that way. I think of it as augmented intelligence, right? To really, you're still the expert, but how can we leverage those types of things to make our jobs easier? So I think you're going to start seeing a lot of companies embracing AI more, and I can't wait to hear more examples and stories of how this has freed them up, or even just taken them to the next level.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too. And I know we're going to have uh, to incorporate some of those discussions
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
our podcast next year too.
Mary, thank you for a fun 2025. It's been, thanks for the new jersey as well too, MSL Lead jersey. Sporting it last time. Thank you for your friendship, your partnership. Thank you to our listeners. I'm excited that we have over official 2,000 followers that are on our LinkedIn page. We know that there's several out there that continue to listen one way or another, but we thank you for that. You're what makes this podcast possible, and look forward to kicking off a new year here in the coming weeks. With that, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, or I guess maybe by the time you listen to this, it may have already been Christmas. Hope you had a great Christmas, holiday season, Happy New Year, and until that time we are together again, lead well.